Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a love tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. It's on down here at Nurburgring for race 3. We have our reverse grid in front of us. It's Harry Cook on the front row of the grid on pole position in the Nissan GTR. Tom Foster in the K-Tech Racing Subaru WRX is next to him. Row 2, we've got the 2 Parker Racing Renault Meganes of Sam Parker and Darren Parker. Row 3 is Gary Black in the Lexus RTF. Next to him, we've got Rob Pellet in the Nissan GTR of Elite Racing. On row 4 then we've got the other Elite Racing Nissan GTR of Craig Kellett, and we've got Mark Nichol in the Renault Megane. Row 5 we've got James Dawson in the BMW M4, and we've got Kieran Thomas in the Subaru WRX of K-Tech Racing. On the back row of the grid we've got Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane, and of course we've got Mike Kuipers in the Nissan GTR. We are good to go then here for the last race of the day. The sun is nearly down fully and the lights are on. Away they go then, and it's a good start for Harry Cook on the front row next to Tom. And of course the guys are already going into the first corner. Josh going slightly wide there. He did look like he was going into the corner quite quick. Craig Kellett then, look at that sun. Might cause a few more problems like it did at Monza. A little tap there on Rob, his teammate, and taking each other out isn't the best idea at the moment when they have just gone into the lead of the team's championship table. So Craig into third already, and a change for the lead as Tom goes ahead of Harry then. What can Harry do from here? Can he keep ahead, defend well and get some good points? But he's already got Craig behind him. As our winner from race 2, Mike, is in 7th already, just behind Josh. Running wide there, looks like Craig, oh sorry, Rob. And Rob has just been overtaken by one of the Renaults. So Rob now drops down to 5th, just ahead of Josh, and Josh is on the back of Rob here then. But Josh holds back, and it's quite close here, mid-pack already. Bit of a battle here between James and Sam. Whoa, James very close to the pit wall then. On to the second lap. The stewards are still looking at the incidents involving James from race 1 and race 2, so his positions at the moment stand, but it could all change. Kieran in 10th with Mark at the back, with Gary here who seems to be struggling, maybe on the hard tyres. At the front then, Tom is leading, a fair bit of a gap, but already the Nissan of Harry is under threat by Craig, and Craig gives him a bit of a push out wide, and there we go. Craig is into second, so already he's on his way to see if he can get into the lead to get past Tom to take a second win of the day. Behind Harry now is Darren, and again those bright yellow lights look fantastic in this dusk setting. Darren on the inside of Harry and already out into third position. That's Harry down to fourth, but Harry's got a bit of a gap now between himself and Josh, so he should be comfortable there for a little while. Those red hot brakes of Harry's, nearly as hot as the orange on his car. So as we go on to lap 3, it's Tom still leading, but you can see the gap is already beginning to drop, and Craig will be looking to take that lead away from Tom. Tom needs the points after a struggle at Monza and a DQ for selecting the wrong tyre, so that's been and done, but it's affected his title push right from the beginning. So Josh is just on the back end of Harry here now, so this could be a good opportunity for Josh to get past and get into fourth. Whoa, well controlled by Josh. And not far behind Josh is, of course, Mike here. So Mike could just hold back and wait for the two to fight it out and potentially get past both of them. Josh has got past Harry, so Harry down to fifth now, just ahead of Mike. That Nissan of Harry's doesn't look quite as planted as the other Nissans. We do know that Mike is working alongside the Elliott Racing team. A light's beaming on the back of that Nissan of Harry's. On to lap 4 then. Further down we've got Mark is right on the back of Sam, so this isn't great for Sam. You're used to seeing him right up the front, but he's struggled to get away from the mid-pack. And Mark gets past him, so Sam again struggling here, and I wonder if there's something wrong with Sam, because this is unusual to allow two cars past him. Mike and Mark, sorry, and Kieran have gone past. Now Kieran's got past Mark, so Kieran's up to 7th. And whoa, something's happened with Josh there. Not exactly sure what happened there. Let's have a little look to see if we can find where Josh is. No, Josh is out of the race. Must have had a problem. So that's Josh, that's a DNF, which is really again going to affect Josh's fight for the title, and he is struggling to defend that independence so far, with the likes of Mike, Harry, Mark already building their points, and with new contenders joining every new race weekend, it's looking like Josh has got a fight on his hands this season. So up the front here then, Darren is behind Craig, and they've already caught up to Tom pretty swiftly, so Tom is looking not as strong around this Nurburgring. The Nissan and the Renault, both of Darren and Craig, looking very, very quick. And as Craig is all over the back of Tom. And potentially Darren's going to hold back here. Maybe see if there's an opportunity to get past if the two of them slow down because of fighting it out. Back further down then. Mike is still ahead of Harry. Again, this is a very, very good weekend for Mike. More points for Mike means a real boost in points for the independents. And in actual fact, it's really going to help him in the overall title. So Mike looking very strong in the Nissan. Switched from the Mustang from last year. Mike was pretty quick, but is looking to be even quicker in the Nissan. Here's Harry going slightly wide. Alright, so a fight here between Kieran and Rob. Rob is on the back of Mark now, so a great three-way tussle here. Mark is defending hard and nearly pushing out Rob onto the gravel. Fantastic to watch from behind. And not too far behind is Sam, who again is struggling. There's definitely something wrong with Sam in his car. I wonder if he's on the wrong tyres maybe, or if he's just not got the setup right. So down in the inside Rob goes, and he's got past Mark. A little bit of a push, but this is a great three-way now between Mark, Kieran and Rob. Kieran goes wide, Mark's on the inside of Rob. On board with Mark again, as Rob is now leading this small pack in 6th position. Rob desperate for points, really wants to get up further in the points to bag as much as possible to help the team. So Mark now ahead of Rob again. Rob is side by side with Kieran, and Kieran stays on the outside. Oh, there's a tap there, but they keep it going, and this has actually allowed now Sam to get on the back of it because they're all fighting. It's just settled down a little bit now. Further down in 10th is Gary, who's having a race on his own. And here is James. So James looks like he's got a problem. He's off the track. I'm not sure what's going on here with James, but he looks like he could be on the way to retirement. Really struggling, yeah. So James now a lap behind everyone else, so having to get the blue flag and allow everyone past. So Tom is now down in 3rd position, and that seems to have dropped behind quite a bit, just behind these two. So whilst we're watching the races in the mid-pack, Tom's been overtaken, Craig has taken the lead, Darren is now in 2nd, and Darren has got a good run up here and is on the outside of Craig. Doesn't quite make it. Seems to be the theme this year so far is Darren versus Craig. Is definitely a fight for the title from the get-go. Who can stop Craig? And at the moment, Darren seems to be the only one who can challenge him. Just out on the outside of the runoff there, hitting the gravel. And in the background we see Tom, who's now under threat by Mike, potentially. So Tom could drop down to 4th. And this, again, is great for Mike, who could get another podium for the day. Let's have a little watch. On board with Mike. In that striking bright blue Top Gear themed livery. So this could be a battle to watch. James behind obviously is a lap down, so he's out of the question. Harry racing on his own. This could be another decent 5th position. And as much as he's not got any podiums yet, it's still bagging more points. And if you think about the likes of Josh, who's just retired, this is going to boost him in the independents. Tom and Mike then still fighting, and Mike seems to be that ever so bit closer to Tom. You can start to see the reflection of the lights on the back of his car, and look at the speed that Mike has got, and he's on the outside of the chicane. Not the right place to be, but can he get the switch back? Potentially. One side, the other side, over the curbs they go. Tom is very aggressive as he goes over the curbs. You can see the amount of rocking the car does, bouncing across them. The two are practically side by side as they come down the start-finish straight, and Mike is on the inside, so he's on the correct side this time. Can he get Tom? He does, but can Tom get back on the inside? He doesn't quite get it, so Mike has got him, and Mike is now into 3rd. This will be another podium finish for Mike if he can hold here. He's going to defend hard, and there was a bit of a push there by Tom. So this is where Mike needs to push and see if he can get past Tom again. Mike is really showing his confidence this season, fighting and battling out with the teams and the front runners. On the outside again of Tom. Tom's on the inside. We're on board with Mike again. Tom's just not able to get the pull away from the corners, and he's having to defend hard, making it the widest Subaru ever to be known to man, just to keep that 3rd position. Whoa, Mike just catches the gravel and nearly loses it, but keeps it going. So back down further in down the grid is this battle still going on between Mark, Kieran and Rob. Rob has dropped down to 8th now. It's Kieran and Mark up ahead fighting. This race is full of battles from the top all the way down to the bottom. Fantastic to watch, and at the moment it's quite clean. Rob going over those curbs, just waiting for the right moment to get past Kieran, who is waiting for the right moment to get past Mark. And that Red Bull livery looking fantastic in this dusk setting as well. It really shows off that dark navy blue very well. And the contrasting red and yellow, very, very famous colours. Oh, so, well, that's a shame. So Rob has been reset, and that's happened to Mike, it's happened to Tom, so that is a bit of a nightmare for anyone who makes that mistake. That's a shame for Rob, who was doing well there, and has allowed Sam to get ahead of him. But hopefully Rob can get back up ahead of Sam after all of that work. Gary racing on his own still, down in 10th. And James still struggling with that BMW. Something is definitely wrong with it. So at the front then we have a new leader. Darren is now ahead of Craig, so all that hard work has paid off. What can Craig do? Can he get his second win of the day, or is Darren going to take a win, and a much needed win to keep up in terms of points for the title? As we said, it's still early days, 10 rounds. This is round 2, so there'll be still 8 rounds to go. But already Craig building a very, very strong lead. Craig on the inside then takes the lead, but Darren takes it back, but he's on the outside and he's on the wrong side for the next corner. A bit of a push by Craig, but it's all friendly. Craig is back in the lead, but Darren will no doubt try and push to get past again there on the final lap then. Further down, Mike is still ahead of Tom. He's actually built a bit of a gap, but Mike goes very deep and very wide, almost drifting around the corner. Tom needs this podium, needs the points to keep up with the rest of them. Tom is still further down in the table. Oh, Mike is just cutting the inside corner of that on the grass there. And this is still going on as well, so we are still fighting with Kieran and Mark. This has been going on pretty much the whole race, so it's great to watch. And Kieran's got him, and now they're side by side. But we're going to have to leave this because we come down to the last few bends. Craig has fallen behind a little bit, and it looks like Darren is going to take the win. I don't think I don't think Craig is far enough to take a lunge at Darren, so Darren is going to take the win on the last race of the day. Darren takes it ahead of Craig here at Nurburgring, and Tom just gets ahead of Mike around the last few bends, so Tom will take that podium back ahead of Mike, and Harry will take 5th on his own. So that's a good result for Harry, and a last corner battle here between Mark and Kieran. A bit of rough and tumble, and Mark is going to get it. So Mark takes 6th, Kieran takes 7th. Sam is just ahead here of Rob, with James in the background, but of course James is a lap down. So here comes Gary, who is still quite a way behind. So Gary really struggling with that Lexus on this last race. Of course, don't forget, Josh has retired because of some issues. We're not sure why, but that's a big DNF for Josh and 0 points, which will definitely hurt him. So Gary will come across to take 10th. Here are the results in for race 3 here at Nurburgring. Darren takes his first win of the day, ahead of Craig Kellett in 2nd, and Tom just about gets ahead in 3rd, ahead of Mike. Harry takes 5th, Mark takes 6th, Kieran takes 7th, ahead of Sam, Rob and Gary in 10th, and of course James finishes in 11th but was a lap behind. and retired with a DNF is Josh Hardy. In the Drivers' Championship for the title race then, Craig is way ahead by 9 points with 95. Darren is now back up to second with 86. Mike goes down to third, but still a very strong third with 80. Down into fourth is Sam after a struggle in that last race with 71. In fifth we've got Mark with 66. Seventh is Tom with 61. Eighth Josh is now on 58, so there's a swap over there after Josh gets a DNF with a 0 points finish. Ninth is Kieran with 57, just a point behind Josh. 10th is Rob with 46. 11th is James with 30, and 12th is Gary with 23. In the team's title then, Parker Racing just about leap back ahead of Elliott Racing with 178 by 3 points to 175, and K-Tech Racing still more work to do with 143. In the independents, Mike is way ahead with 107. In second now is Harry with 95 points. Third is Mark with 93. Josh drops down further with only 72, so still a bit of work to do. Down in fifth is Gary with 40 points, and in sixth is James with 36, with Shane still to score points after not turning up to either round 1 or round 2. Thank you very much for watching here at Nurburgring. We look forward to having you join us at the next round in Laguna Seca in 2.5 weeks' time.